The beach is desolate. A crescent moon of sand and stones that curved around the bay, punctuated at either end by a sharp, black, jagged outcrop of rock. On the edge of one sat a church, battered by the blinding wind and slammed by the waves, but still there, still standing. That was where the woman was heading. Sand slipped through her feet as she stumbled along the shoreline, her eyes fixed on the speck in the distance. If she could just reach it. Then what? She doubted she'd find anyone else there. Anyone alive, anyway. Shelter, then. Better to be curled up in the dingy corner of a run-down building than huddling against the waves in a damp cave. But more than that, the church was somewhere to go, a goal to fixate on. She had nowhere else to go. She'd known this beach all her life. Memories used to swamp her mind with just a breath of salty air. Childhood spent exploring rock pools, skipping over boulders and rocks in search of tiny, defenseless creatures to gawk at, capture and release. How young and stupid they'd been. She remembered whole days of expeditions, long walks deep in thought, clandestine moonlight kisses. But now, she'd rather let the relentless blasts of northern wind bleach her mind clean than think about anything. A shock of icy cold brushed against her feet, yanking her out of her daydreams. She shrieked as she scrambled backwards out of the water that had crept up around her ankles. She'd strayed too close. Her eyes drifted up from the tiny ripples of surf to the crashing waves rolling towards her. A boat, only a small one meant for fishing, was pinned to the rocks, smashed by the sea. A small stain of red hull and broken sails slumped in defeat. It doesn't pay to be careless, not these days. She shook herself out of her trance, managed to stagger to her feet and keep walking. Focus on getting to the church, nothing else. In her memories the sea was blue, glimmering in the sun. Now, in reality, it was always stark, unyielding, grey. She hated the sea these days. It had ceased to become a source of joy and familiarity, and was something to be feared. As a child she'd often heard her grandfather say, "The sea has no mercy for king nor commoner." She'd never really understood that, not truly, until the ocean had shown what lay beneath its immense, cold depths, until something had risen and taken everything. Now, whenever she looked out at the dark grey mass that shifted and stretched on forever, all she could see was terrible possibility. That things lay beneath the water that could destroy houses with a single tentacled swipe, and that those things could come back. Her town used to be a fishing village, once. Now, all there was left to show that anything had ever been there was a few ruins, and more human detritus littering the beach with every tide. Driftwood, scraps of twisted metal, the odd pathetic scrap that might have once been something living. She never looked close enough to be sure. Nothing else was there to ever suggest anything but water, sand, and stone. And one lonely, tiny, scared human. This was here before you, the sea seemed to whisper, as she turned her back to the wind and stumbled on. It will endure you. And it will be here after you.